up? Welcome back. It is Bones, and today I want to take a look at some teams that we should be building by using the figures from McFarlane's DC Multiverse. Now, I also want to talk about each roster, the figures we have received, the ones we desperately need, and my favorite picks for who I would like to see next come out from McFarlane. Now, I do have 4 teams that I want to take a look at. We'll run it down, take a look at them, see what you guys think, and hopefully in the future we can build these teams fully. Now, first off, let's go ahead and start with the Teen Titans. Now, we know there's different versions of Teen Titans, different characters, so this is just like a sort of core membership. But if I forget anybody or you want to see somebody else, let me know. Now, starting off from Teen Titans, we have Dick Grayson's Nightwing. Now, this figure is the one released by McFarlane in the Titans wave, but I have added my own Eskrima sticks and storage for the weapons, plus a couple of other little details just to make them a little bit more my own. But he is a figure that was released by McFarlane that matches a little bit closer to what the Teen Titans version looks like. Now, up next, we have Arsenal, also known as Red Arrow, also known as Speedy. A pretty underrated figure. Some differences could be made on the color scheme, but it is representative of the comics. But this is another core member of the Titans. It's just a certain version that we receive from McFarlane. Up next, we have Aqualad. Now, this once again is a certain version of Aqualad. This is coming from the Page Punchers line, and another figure that I think doesn't get a lot of love, but I actually love his design, the way his weapons were done, and his and his stature compared to the other teams. He fits right into the team, so that is awesome. Up next, now this one's kind of just thrown in there, but this is Wallace West, the Flash. Now, he actually is usually in a team with Damian Wayne, which is known more as the Extreme Titans. So he's not usually just with the regular roster, but that's fine. I just wanted to, showcase him here in this Teen Titans lineup, but another nice looking figure. Up next, we have Donna Troy. Now, she was released in the official Titans wave. Nice to get a female member of the Titans. She comes with her big old sword, so that was pretty cool. But another core classic member of Teen Titans. And up next, now, this is pretty interesting because this is actually a member from the original Teen Titans. So he kind of doesn't fit with this more modern take on the Teen Titans, but I still wanted to include him. That is the Changeling Beast Boy. This figure has grown on me over time. I especially did some cool paint details to his costume, which makes him a lot more appealing to me. So that is Beast Boy in his classic costume. And of course, we have Little Bart, and that is Impulse. Now, usually when you see this guy in the Titans, he's that little pipsqueak version. McFarlane did give us this more teenage body, but he is also in the comics in certain versions, so I just wanted to display him here with his Teen Titans team members. Now, up next, we have another core member, another female. Really happy to have this one from McFarlane, but we can get another alternate version, would be nice, and that is Raven. Pretty nice figure. Now, like I said, there is different costumes for her, so we still have room to get another Raven from McFarlane. But she's another main member of the Titans. And then finally, I just wanted to add this guy. And that is the big old Beast Boy that was the collect to build figure from the Titans wave. I had just recently assembled him, and he is a pretty nice detailed figure. I love the costume. The sculpt work and the detail is pretty excellent. So that is actually your transformed sort of beast boy. Now the members that we are missing, of course, are the classic cyborg, and you could throw a Wonder Girl in there. But for me, I really want to see the young version of Wally West when he is known as Kid Flash. Now I have this DC Direct figure as a stand-in, and that is actually the size that McFarlane could have made Impulse in, because that is, traditionally what he looks like. But this is just to represent something I would like to see from McFarlane. Now my most wanted Teen Titan is actually Connor Kent. Love the design of this guy. There's just something about him. This is basically one of my favorite versions of Superboy. Maybe because he dresses like me and he reminds me most of myself. But yeah, Connor Kent, we definitely need one. This is one from DC Direct that I'm just using as a stand in. But I would really like to see that t-shirt and jeans version of Connor Kent. Now, of course, we all know we can't forget. Not only do I want her, but everybody probably wants her, and that is Starfire. Now, once again, lots of costumes with this character. We know that we want a more revealing costume, but I'm not so sure we can get that. Hopefully, we can, or at least, somewhat. But she is an awesome member of the Titans and one that I know everybody basically wants. That is Starfire. Now, hopefully, these teams that I show McFarlane can get into, we don't want it to be like that Teen Titans animated cyborg where he only made that member. I really think it would be a crime to humanity if he doesn't at least make Beast Boy to match up with that animated cyborg. It's going to be really an injustice, but we'll see how it goes at the end. But McFarlane, you really need to make a couple more members of that Teen Titans team. All right, now the next team I want to take a look at is going to be the Justice Society. Once again, we have a couple of members, but there are many that we do not have and we could use. So first off, one of the main members of Justice Society is going to be Jay Garrick. Awesome figure, beautiful design, looks great on the shelf, and one of the founding members of the Justice Society of America. Now up next we have Alan Scott, another old school classic society member. Now a lot of these characters are from the, I think, gold and silver age of DC Comics. Now this one actually came out in the first wave of the collector's edition from McFarlane. I did do some alterations. I gave him the ring on his left hand and I painted his lantern. It was more of a translucent plastic and I wanted it to have a more metallic feel. But he's another awesome member of the society. Now, the next one, I just recently reviewed him. And although this is not the version that you usually see in the Justice League Society, I did want to add Hawkman because he is a awesome looking figure. Fits pretty much right in with the society, even though he's not the old classic version. He's more of a modern take. But for now, he works perfectly with the other members. Up next, another figure that we don't really have a version of. We need a classic comic book version of Dr. Fate. But I do use this as a stand in for my society. This is the Black Adam body with the Injustice 2 helmet from the first wave. So basically, for all intents and purposes, he actually works really well. Sort of classic looking design for Dr. Fate. And he fits right in with the other members. Now, the members that we desperately need, of course, everybody's favorite is Wildcat. Now, these are my DC Universe Classics figures, but I'm just going to use them as placeholders until we receive the versions from McFarlane. Fingers crossed. Awesome, cool character. Up next, a sort of obscure character that a lot of people don't know, but he is a founding member of the Justice Society, and that is Dr. Midnight. Love his design, love the colors they use, and a costume you don't really see a lot, and that is Dr. Midnight. Now, up next, this is one that everybody wants, and that is Black Canary. Now, as I said, this is my DC Classics version, but we would definitely like to see McFarlane take a crack at her and get her into our lineups. That is Black Canary. Now, this member, although pretty much from the modern era, she is usually seen with the Society, and that is Stargirl. Even like in the live action, she's a member of the Society. Very interesting figure with her own backstory and design. Would definitely love to see a version of her from DC Multiverse. And then finally, my most wanted member of the Society, and that is the Spectre. Just love his design and his look. Not necessarily a big fan of like his backstory and stuff like that, but just love the way he looks. Just for my preferences, a pretty spooky looking character, and I love that. That is the Spectre. Actually, he's a figure that McFarlane should really tackle because he's right in his wheelhouse of that, creepy cloaked figure. So that would be cool to see. All right, now we're gonna go into the Justice League Dark. Um, Basically, I built this Batman with the idea that he was going to be my Justice League Dark Batman. There's just something about him that I like. The leather buckles and the old school look really lend him to a more darker tone. So, this is my Batman for my Justice League Dark setup. Sometimes you have to use figures that you just prefer in your lineups, and you're not actually pigeonholed into one lineup. You could mix it up and make it your own. Now, up next, of course, we have Etrigan. Not necessarily your classic version of Etrigan, but he does fit in very well with the Justice League Dark. We can still get another version, which, we hope we do. But this one will work for now. I think this is more like from the Demon Knights or something like that. But he works for what he is. Awesome sculpt, awesome design, just not your classic version. Now, up next, no Justice League Dark lineup is is complete without your John Constantine. Now, this one is from the Page Punchers. I did do a little bit of wash on his coat, and actually, he's an awesome figure. Fits right into your DC Multiverse Justice League Dark lineup. Give him a Sigo just for some attitude, but he's an awesome, awesome figure. Core member of the Justice League Dark. Up next, we have Deadman, another one that we just got out of the blue from McFarlane. Weren't really expecting him, but once again, he fits right into the team. Awesome member. Cool to already check him off the list, and we'll just wait for a couple of other members. Now, once again, I had built my own version of Dr. Fate, and this version was made to fit in to my Justice League Dark. I used a different helmet and gave him a completely different repaint from his original release. But for now, this is my Dr. Fate that fits into my Justice League Dark setup. And then and then now the big boy. Now I barely opened this horned version of Swamp Thing. I had never opened him before, and now I take a good look at him. He has a lot of cool wash that the original release doesn't really have. So that's what I liked about him. Awesome, intimidating stature for this Swamp Thing. and he is a main member of the Dark. Now, of course, next, the one I want and I know everybody wants, and that is Zatanna. Now, this is my DC Universe Classics version, but this is basically what we're looking for. If McFarlane ever decides to produce her, but for now, this is just, a stand in to show you what she should look like. But there are different designs and costumes for her, so we'll have to wait and see what we get. Now, a member that is usually in there, but for some reason she's in all the teams. I think she's also in Justice Society of America, and that is Wonder Woman. I mean, she's, in a lot of teams, so that's pretty crazy. But this is actually the DC Essentials Wonder Woman that I want to use until we could get our official McFarlane release of Wonder Woman. But for now, she works good with if you want to throw her into the Justice League Dark. And then finally, let's do a Justice League. Now, first things first, I am going to build probably 3 Justice Leagues. So just because I picked some versions or, certain ones for this league, I know I still have classic versions of the characters to build another league. And that is a good part of having different versions of all characters like Batman, Superman, Martian Manhunter, is that you could have a modern take on the character and you can also have a classic version. For this one, it's a little bit more of a modern take. Now, for my Batman, I actually chose this 3 Jokers Batman. He just gives me that newer costume, like grittier feel of Batman. So that's what I went with. Now, I did paint his trunks black because originally they are gray, but I really like him in my more modern Justice League roll call. So that's the Batman I went with. And I still have the Hush Batman, the Nightfall Batman. All of these could be used. The Rebirth Batman can all be used in your Justice League setup. And as I said, I will be building various Justice Leagues. So I'm not too worried about using different, versions of characters. I still have more to choose from. Now, the Superman for this lineup is going to be the Hush Superman. This is the latest released one that has a more like stern, basic face. And I really love the color of blue that they chose. Awesome figure. And actually, these 2 figures are about the same stature, which is more of what I prefer with between my Superman and Batman. Awesome, awesome figures work really well together. now, now once again, uh, Wonder Woman is in all the teams. Here she is in this, form of the Justice League. This time with her shield, she fits right in. I did order another 7-inch styled Wonder Woman to do another Justice League, and then of course we are anticipating the release of the McFarlane classic Wonder Woman. So that's going to be awesome. Now, for my Flash, I actually chose the Rebirth version. And if you want to do another version, of course, you have the Flashpoint Flash, which is a more classic version, which is actually what I'm going to use him for, is a more classic lineup of the Justice League. But this one fits perfectly with my faux modern, lineup of the Justice League. Looks really good with the rest of the figures. Now, up next, I actually chose the long haired, bearded version of Aquaman. For the same reason, I do have a classic version of Aquaman, but I wanted this one more for my modern lineup of the Justice League, and he fits right in with these not too classic versions of the heroes, but a little bit more of a more recent lineup. But he does fill out the line rather well with his look, so that's the Aquaman that I went with. Now, for my Green Lantern, actually, Hal Jordan is my favorite Lantern. But for this Justice League setup, I actually went with John Stewart. Cool, intimidating head sculpt, awesome figure. I think he looks good, and especially lined up with the rest of the Justice League members. So I went with John Stewart Green Lantern for this lineup. And then finally, we have Martian Manhunter. Now, this is actually the more modern take on him. I did give him a metallic repaint to his skin, which gives him a different feel. Now, we do have the classic version of Martian Manhunter, but as I said before, that will be for our classic lineup of the Justice League. So, we do have a core roster of Justice League members, but I do expect to get more characters. Now, we do need a cyborg that isn't the Flashpoint cyborg, that is a more modern, regular scale. And then you could pick from the hundreds of characters that have been in the Justice League: Plastic Man, Red Tornado, Shazam. All of these characters have at one point in time been in the Justice League. So, anyways, guys, just a quick take on some teams that we can build. You guys keep hunting out there, keep collecting, keep customizing, and I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.